Well, look, the president's told his entire senior team that we should be trying to cut a deal that ensures the Iranians don't have a nuclear weapon. But if we can't cut that deal, then there's another option on the table. Well, look, the president's told his entire senior team that we should be trying to cut a deal that ensures the Iranians don't have a nuclear weapon. But if we can't cut that deal, then there's another option on the table. So I think the president's going to continue to preserve his options. He's going to have a lot of options because we have the most powerful military in the world. But until the president tells us to stop, we're going to engage in these conversations and try to reach a good outcome through negotiation.
Would you?
Well, look, I mean, if the Iranian people want to overthrow the regime, that's up to the Iranian people. What we're focused on right now is the fact that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. That's been the focus of the president's policy, even going back to the first administration.
Iran and the United States are considering holding a second round of talks over Tehran's nuclear program. Now, these talks would come after the negotiations that we saw last week that were conducted in Oman, that sultanate on the eastern edge of the Arabian Peninsula. Oman has been key in mediating previous rounds of talks between Tehran and Washington last year that ended with Israel launching its 12-day war against the Islamic Republic back in June. Now, already we've seen a top Iranian security official travel to both Oman and Qatar. Qatar also has been a key mediator between Iran and the United States. And we haven't really heard yet back from the Iranians, but everything that they have been saying suggests that they are willing to negotiate over the nuclear program, but to what level remains unclear.
As you know, we have a massive flotilla right now going over to Iran. We'll see what happens. I think they want to make a deal. I think they'd be foolish if they didn't. We took out their nuclear power last time, and we'll have to see if we take out more this time. And I would say that I'd rather make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. No nuclear weapons, no missiles, no this, no that, all the different things that you want. But some people worry that they've been very dishonest with us over the years, right? Very dishonest. Obama and Biden, what they did in terms of creating a monster with Iran was terrible. That Iran nuclear deal was one of the dumbest deals I've ever seen.
We have an armada that is heading there, and another one might be going. Last time Iran decided that they were better off not making a deal, they were hit with midnight hammer. That did not work well for them. Hopefully this time they will be more reasonable and responsible.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has continued to threaten the Iranians over not reaching a deal. He mused in an interview that he might consider bringing a second aircraft carrier and its associated warships to the Middle East. That would provide even more firepower should the Americans decide to militarily attack Iran. But as of right now, it remains unclear whether or not Trump would carry out such a strike. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in Washington to talk to Trump about Israel's concerns and the regional concerns of other nations, which have warned in the Middle East that this could lead to a wider conflict.
ما به دنبال سلاح هسته‌ای نیستیم. ما بارها و بارها این را اعلام کردیم و آماده هر گونه راستی آزمایی هستیم. دیوار بلند بی‌اعتمادی رو که آمریکا و اروپا در قبال اون حرف‌هایی که میزنند ایجاد کردند اجازه نمیده که این گفتگوها به نتیجه برسه.
دیپلماسیای انگلیسی که ترسیده بود شاه بهش میگفتن که این جمعیت و اینا.
ایران ما در مقابل زیادخواهی های آنها سرخم نخواهد کرد. ایران ما در مقابل بی‌عدالتی ها و تجاوز ها کوتاه نخواهد آمد. ولی ما با تمام قوا در جهت صلح و آرامش در منطقه با کشورهای همسایه در حال گفتگو هستیم. مشکل منطقه را کسانی که در منطقه زندگی می کنند می توانند حل کنند، نه بیگانگانی که از دور میان و میخوان مشکل ما را حل کنند.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with President Trump for more than 2 hours on Wednesday. Trump said he insisted to Netanyahu that negotiations with Iran continue, and he wrote on Truth Social that he hopes Iran will be more, quote, reasonable and responsible. Netanyahu made the last-minute trip to Washington to urge Trump to expand the scope of negotiations to include major Israeli concerns such as Iran's ballistic missile program and its support for militant groups such as Hezbollah and Hamas. Earlier this morning, Netanyahu met with Secretary of State Marco Rubio to sign an official document about his participation in the Board of Peace.